Hey guys, so we're back. I actually set off on a quest to go get some lemonade. Needless to say, I have zero lemonade anyway.
I have lemonade. You suck thumb.
Oh, there's Christian. Hi.
Hi.
All right, so we have
Yes, who is
another
this
guest
person?
with us
Yes,
today.
who is he?
Who are you?
Hi, my name's Devin, and I'm a freshman at JJAY College.
Freshman.
Tom, you're a freshman. Shut up.
Yeah, whatever. Who cares? All right, so you were just talking to me about your wonderful poster. Do you want to tell everyone else what your poster's about?
Yeah, sure. Right now I'm taking a class in community policing, and the poster topic that I chose was to understand the communications between the community and the police.
Yeah, and we were just talking, like, that sounds really, really interesting. We had Victoria on earlier who had a similar topic, but it was the difference. She wasn't talking about age or race, or sorry, she wasn't talking about age or location. She was talking about race. You went way beyond that, and you're like bringing in, for example, you were talking age. Do you wanna talk us a little about what you're doing here today?
Yeah, absolutely. So when people say diversity, the first thing that comes to mind is ethnicity or race.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot more that goes into it. So if you just look at New York City, which is by far one of the most diverse areas in the world,
Absolutely. Yeah.
you could see that somewhere like, let's say, Queens is extremely diverse. Whereas the Bronx, unfortunately, since low-income housing is located primarily there, and there's a lot of high crime rates, we often have to see that there's a large minority that lives there. And so there's already that bridge and that gap between socioeconomic disparities as well as race. And another one would also have to be the gap between age, where we have younger teens who are being arrested or out for juvenile delinquency or just living life, who have a much more depressing and sad view about the police force in their area, as well as a very contrasting view from conservative adults who believe that there's a lot more success when it comes to the police actually controlling crime.
I know actually exactly what you're talking about. Because I know I like to think I'm pretty popular, and I have a few friends on Facebook, and I've seen a lot of I have friends, and I've seen a lot of them actually posting about, for example, the riots in Baltimore, and many of them were talking about their example of justice. But they were all about the age of 18 to 20 range, more or less. So yeah, exactly what you're talking about, age. That makes a lot of sense. And personally, I hadn't even thought about it until you told me about that.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes on that people aren't really aware of, especially when it comes to the Baltimore riots. There's a lot of talk about how the riots are the only way to get the attention of the police in order to listen to them. And when we look at peaceful protests that are going around, whether it's now or back then, there's a lot more protests that are happening now. And by that, it starts to lose a little bit of its popularity as well as power. And so when it comes to riots, people are going to notice it. People are going to see that it's going to be publicized. And that's the main way to get to the ears of all of them.
So you're saying that peaceful protests, at one time they were effective, but as it's gone through, it's become less and less effective, and people are getting discouraged and resorting to violence?
I wouldn't say that it's becoming completely less effective, but if we look at something like Occupy Wall Street, there wasn't a lot of synchronization when it comes to what the people wanted. All they knew was we are the 99%. And when you had people who were sleeping outside or inside banks, when you have people who are just trying to get to work every day, there's a lot more to it than just what people usually see. And so when you see Occupy Wall Street, it was very disjoint. There wasn't a lot that people understood in terms of what's going to be their point of view. If you look at the civil rights movement, we understood clearly what it was. Women's suffrage, we know exactly what it was. LGBTQ communities, they know exactly what they want to do. So when we look at something like the Baltimore riots, we see that there's an obvious disdain for the police actions, especially around racism. But there's a lot more than just the violence that's occurring, as well as the supposed racism of police forces.
Okay, well, I really liked your topic, and I think that you had really good viewpoints. It's really nice of yours. Yeah, it was really heavy. Getting off of your really heavy topic, have you seen any awesome posters out there other than your own, obviously?
Oh, absolutely. When it comes to today, even though I'm doing community policing, we have an entire class dedicated to finding that out. So, of course, it's going to be topics of racism, demilitarization. But upon other days that I came here, there was a few that I noticed, especially one that was on acid burn victims in Bangladesh. And that was one that I noticed was fairly powerful because it was something that was above and beyond what we just see here in America. It was something on an international level that could happen to anyone.
Yeah, say I was handed a list of things that like posters that were going around, and I actually saw the acid one, and I was like, man, that sounds really interesting. I actually wrote it down next to me. I'm really hoping to get them in here to see what's up. Were there the graphic pictures on the posters at all, or?
Well, in terms of what's being said as graphic, there were some pictures of the victims, and it really shines a light as to, one, the effects of what happens when a woman's face is thrown, when acid is thrown at them. But it also shows that these are people who were once regular-looking individuals, especially women, and some of them were beautiful. And here you are, you have men throwing acid on them, and now they look like this. But it's not about their appearance as much as the story that they have to tell and the effect that they have when it comes to showing other people what they have been through and what they are trying to do to stop it.
That sounds great. Wow. You got really heavy stuff.
Great. Just
Well,
heavy.
okay, listen. I don't...
We know what you mean. We know what you mean.
All right, thank you so much for being on with us today. That was awesome. You want to, one more time, register what we're doing here again? What was your name into your poster?
Yeah, great. So my name's Devin. I'm a freshman at JJAY College, and my poster was about community policing and communication that would allow us to have a better police force.
All right, thank you so much, Devin.
No problem.
You have a great day.
You too.
Whew. That was some heavy chiz, guys. Oi. Was it? All right, looks like that we have a interview that was just done. It was by Professor. Who was that interview by? Okay, well, it was either one of those guys.
Yeah, I was just talking with Lorena V. She has a very long last name, but she has a very interesting poster that deals with the social media and the police community. I learned something really interesting that I didn't know, that this, in addition to the police doing other nasty things, they do nasty things on social media too sometimes. And so let me play this. And this is Lorena V. She'll tell her name during the little podcast.
Okay, well, while you do that, I'm gonna go get some lemonade.
Play some music. Play some music.
All right, I'll just get down on one knee. We'll start this nice.
Marry me, yes! Where's the ring?
Oh no, I left it at home. Okay, so my name's Christian Yaka, and your name is?
Maria Pacheco.
Nice to meet you, Maria. So you did militarization of police, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so what exactly do you mean by militarization of police?
We mean regular police forces being tasked with these military-grade weapons. You know, it's getting out of hand now.
Yeah, okay. So like situations like Ferguson and Baltimore where they have the heavy MRAPs and the sniper rifles, the military gear, the camouflage, things like that.
Yeah, it's like every situation, you have to deal with it accordingly to how the situation's handled.
Absolutely.
Because Ferguson, it's a different situation from Baltimore. Baltimore is just out of control. We're not saying that just scrap the whole idea of police being upgraded. We're not saying that because we don't want them to be too vulnerable and not to be able to control the situation.
Yeah, that's fair.
We just want them to be able to, if they have extra money for some weapons that, you know, protests don't come along every single day,
No, that's
especially violent protests. So why don't use some of that money that you have putting in towards that type of weaponry and put it towards programs that will help the community and help us better build trust between us and the police.
Very fair. Just some background. Where does the weapons and the ammo and the gear come from? From what I remember, I think there is a government program that does get. It was after 9/11. The government had a program that gave away. It was through the Department of Defense. Government gave away military gear, weapons, ammo, vehicles at like a super low rate, anywhere from like dollars and cents to free. So what kind of effect do you think that's having on departments that could just get like heavy military grade helicopters with gunships for free? Like, is it adding fuel to the fire, or does that suppress the riots?
It's adding fuel to the riots, because basically they're getting these weapons that are like, they're not paying for it. So it's even worse, because now you have all these weapons to your disposal, and you don't have to pay for all the heavy weaponry, all the extra equipment you have to wear and all that. So it makes it worse. Like, if I'm rioting and I'm already an angry person and I see you come out with this big giant gun, I'm gonna look at you and be and try to provoke you, like, oh, you're gonna come to shoot me? Come shoot me.
Okay, that's very fair. Yeah, I'd be scared. I'd be angry. I guess situations like Arab Springs, like the population gets put down, like your partner over there said. What was his name, by the way?
Isam Bukhari.
Isam. He mentioned Arab Springs. When a population gets suppressed too long, gets put down, they start to rise up. But thankfully, we're not at that point yet. And there's lots of sensitivity training going on now, especially in the wake of all these tragedies. But what do you think about, all this sensitivity training? But yeah, what do you think about the sensitivity training?
I feel like every time we have to implement something new, it's always a tragedy that brings everything up, because we don't wait. For example, like we wait until like people burn things, push things over in order to be like, okay, let's build better policies, instead of doing it beforehand, before situations uprise into big problems where we have to use the military style policing to come and handle the situation.
That was very knowledgeable and very insightful, and I want to thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Have a good day.
Okay, I'll give you this. Hi, everyone. This is Professor Alan Winson. I'm here with Lorena Villasencio, and she has a poster here titled "Social Media's Effect on Community Policing," and we're just here to talk to Lorena and see what she did. So, what was the inspiration of this poster?
The inspiration is that a lot of bad videos and posts go viral on social media, on any social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and a lot of people see that very quickly, and actually that's how social media makes their money, by the bad post or bad negative stuff that's on social media. So the problem with community policing is that there's no training of what police officers can post on their social media, and what that leads to is that police officers usually post negative stuff like bias, racist, or stereotypical comments.
That's interesting that the police themselves are going to use social media like Facebook, Twitter,
just like
Instagram,
people.
Right?
Just like regular people, and sometimes a lot of people have assaulted police officers, has even killed police officers or robbed police officers because they feel offended about the comments.
How do they know that these are police officers that are on social media?
Because sometimes a lot of people can put their job on social media, like their employment is NYPD or any law enforcement position that they have, and like sometimes a lot of people want justice for this, for what they do, but the problem is social media, and it can be deleted, and videos cannot be downloaded from social media.
Interesting. And is the police department doing anything about this? Is something, I guess, it's going on in the city?
The only thing that police departments do is they demote police officers for what they've done.
So they take it seriously?
Not really seriously. Like if you're a police officer, they'll give them office work, or
right. Well, I mean that's something. And let's say you see a police officer doing this, can you report them?
Yeah, that's actually one of the solutions that we have. A lot of people aren't aware that a lot of police departments have pages on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram that people are freely to message and comment any crimes or any concerns they have of the community.
And is this anonymous?
Yeah, you can do it anonymously, or you can just tell them, because if you suspect a crime and they want to use you as a witness, they can. It's actually easier for them to investigate the crime or concern that's happening.
Great, thank you, Lorena.
Yeah.
That was really great. Congratulations on your poster.
Thank you.
Okay, we're back online. I'm here, Tom, talking to my wife on the phone, and she's been She's been away all week, and I miss her. So I want to let her know that I'm missing her. So I'm talking to the world. And I'm also talking to my wife.
Hey, well,
Tom, say hi to Rebecca.
hi to Rebecca.
Okay, so Tom just said hi to Rebecca, but you didn't hear it. So I'm going to say goodbye to Rebecca and then continue. We're going to talk about this last little podcast, and I'll give you a call back. Okay, sweetie? Okay, and I love you too.
Aw,
Bye. Yeah,
that's
yeah,
adorable.
Yeah. I mean, at some point we're going to be able to get phone calls,
Yes.
and then we'll be able to take phone in, so you can hear me making lovely little comments to my wife. It's a great thing. So that last, I think we're going to just comment a little bit about that last podcast. I didn't realize that the police actually said nasty things on social media. That sounds so dumb.
You know what? I have to remember, occasionally the world needs to remember that police officers are normal people.
Yeah,
They're normal people with normal opinions.
yeah.
And
But should they be? Shouldn't they be other than normal people? I mean, they've got special kind of rights.
it's true. I believe that they should act more professionally, and however, and not spread these nasty comments all over Facebook, Twitter, or whatever there is in between MySpace.
Right. I mean, can you imagine the professors at John Jay saying nasties on social media?
Yeah, absolutely, definitely not. It's very unprofessional. However, she said that, for example, that they don't take it. You said that they take it very lightly, and
Yeah.
she said that by saying that they demote the police officers.
Right.
And I've worked with police officers for like past few years, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
And the demotion of a police officer is a very heavy offense.
That's
it
what
takes-
I thought.
Yeah. For example, one of my friends, a family friend of mine, he's worked at the police station in a town one over from me for 15 years,
Right.
and he still has not made the rank of sergeant.
Right.
He's still a private or whatever. I'm sorry, I messed up his rank, but he's still not a sergeant, and he's been there forever. He's been there almost as long as I've been alive.
Right. Right. So I mean, a demotion did not sound like a minor thing, and I'm sure if it kept going, that something even worse would happen. But Lorena obviously had an interesting topic there that I knew nothing about, and it's not been on news media at all.
Yeah, I mean, usually, I do feel that the media is a little biased towards the side of justice, which I don't know exactly if that's wrong to do, but I believe they should be showing the whole truth, which is of course hard to do in the media. So I can understand why why media in general, the news broadcasts, the newspapers, they haven't been exactly zeroed in on these nasty comments coming from police officers.
Well, they certainly don't mind showing films of or videos of police officers shooting civilians.
Well, that's
So maybe this is just not crazy enough to get onto the media.
absolutely. I mean, it's the media. We're watching the news. What do we want to see on the news? We want to see something exciting. We don't want to see somebody saying something mean on Facebook. That's absolutely not what we want to see. Unless someone died, unless someone got arrested, it's not exactly what we want to see at all. And media news shows us what we want to see because that's what they do. It's how they remain popular.
I think this is a breaking news on Radio 568 JJ. The police nasty on social media. We're breaking that news.
Oh, surprise!
Yeah.
Hear me, world.
Before CNN, before Democracy Now, before NBC,
MSNBC.
we are putting it out there into the universe. The American police sometimes are not that smart.
Well, I mean, that's
in more
humans.
ways than one.
Yeah, humans.
They're humans. Go on.
Did you hear about Whole Foods feeding the National Guard? And they didn't feed a ton of kids in Baltimore. That.
All right, we're
going to
changing
schools.
topics here.
Sorry.
That's right.
So a ton of kids in Baltimore, when they go to school, their free lunch is all they have to eat, right? And so
Right.
the Whole Foods and Five Guys were feeding the National Guard, but all those kids who had nothing to eat were
No,
left hungry.
where is that? Where can we find that?
Yeah,
Should be on Baltimore
Just
someplace.
Just Google Whole Foods National Guard, and it should come up.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Talk about corporate America.
Yeah,
So is that been on the news? Or?
yeah. You can totally Google it. It'll come up.
Okay, so we're not. That's not breaking news. But we did break the social media police nasty news,
Yeah.
and I want to see it on Twitter. I want to see it all over the place.
Are we gonna create a hashtag?
Yeah, we'll take great. Yeah. What would the hashtag be for this?
Hashtag
The police suck.
feed the police.
Hashtag police nasties.
Yeah, okay. I like that one actually.
Police, yeah, cop nasties.
So
All right.
obviously, there's been a little bit of injustice, and it's become quite obvious to everyone, even the Facebook knowers.
Yeah, I just. You want to lower that down? So we have a little background music. Now listen, guys. This is Radio568. We got a little music going on in the background there. We've been broadcasting here live from the first floor landing of JJAY College new building. Things are kind of winding down here. We still have a lot of posters are up, a lot of people talking about their projects, about the things they're interested in. This is college. This is real life college. People doing stuff that they're interested in. And here, the WJJCRH group, they're interested in broadcasting.
Hey, that's what we do.
And they've been broadcasting for 2 semesters now. I'm going to let them sign off. This is Dr. Professor. I'm going to sign off now, and I'm giving it over to the WJJCRH group, and you can sign off. And I'm sure maybe they'll be on before the end of the semester.
All right, guys. Yeah, thank you so much for visiting our broadcast. If you did, thank you, the aliens. This is Thomas Faulkner. We're ready to get off the air.
I hope to see you guys again soon. I'm sure we'll be back, actually. Maybe. We'll see.
We will.
I'm Christian Yaka, just in case anybody forgets my name.
It's Maheen. What's up?
All right,
We're
guys.
leaving. Bye.
Thank you so much. We'll see you next time on WJJCRH.